Hello everyone, my online name is RancerDS and I'm going to do a video series about OpenTTD. This is more of a Let's Play type video series. It is not a tutorial. I will talk about some things that could be helpful to you, but this is more about recording my experiences of playing the game. I've already generated a map, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you in world generation the settings that I use. It's 512 by 512 Terragenesis, and I want to focus on the fact that I use terrain type very flat. If you're new to the game, I would suggest using this. It saves you time of messing with the height adjustments of land to make it suitable for roads and rail. I've already generated a map, so I will go ahead and use that. I've got the game paused by default. I like to take the opportunity to look at the map and see where I'd like to start doing things. I've only been playing about a week, so what I tend to do is I try to take coal to power plants. That is usually a safe way to generate income early on. I usually use a single track, single train scenario with a station on each end, and here I can see power plant and a coal field, coal mine relatively close together. And this one actually is close. Oh, that's a sawmill here, I'm sorry. This coal mine here is closer than I thought, and we'll just use that. Now you cannot lay any tracks while you're at pause mode. Also, I'd like to highlight that you start out with $200,000 if you're using American currency. If you're using British pound, it's going to be half that. Honestly, it is enough to get us started, so we'll just go ahead and click on pause, scroll in a little bit. You can use your mouse wheel up and down to scroll in and out. And I usually start with the rail station. Looks like we're going to be using pink for a color scheme. Well, I don't mind. And we're going to make it a short platform. Only one set of tracks going in. And we want to make sure it says accepts coal in that little pop-up window. There it says nothing, so we got to go back one. I can move it to the side. Let's do that. And cost $2,250, so we'll spend almost $5,000 on this part. I'll just make it straight, and I can do it there. $2,280 though. Okay, so we'll go with a straight track, and we have to have a train depot. I like to face them to where I can see the opening. That's a personal preference. It's not necessary. Now, you're only going to have one set of engines, or one engine available, and a start date of 1925. This is the earliest you can use to have any vehicles available. 1925. So we'll go ahead and unpause it and click on the depot to add our new train. It's the only one available by vehicle, and then we're going to need some coal hoppers. You can just use 2 or 3. I go ahead and use 3. We'll think maybe on a positive scale that we'll need that. We need to set a route. Tell it to go to first the coal mine and then the power plant stations or platforms, and then we just click here to start it. And if I really thought ahead, I would put this closer to the coal's depot or coal's platform, and now it's got to make an extra trip because I didn't do that. Now you can see a pop-up that came up explaining it just arrived. It doesn't actually pick up the cargo the first time. It has to make the route at least once before it actually can start transferring cargo or passengers. Now that we've accomplished that, we can start looking at other options. or we could actually micromanage at this time. If I click on train details, we see the reliability is 71%. I've seen it start as low as 57, 58%, at which time you'll need to be able to hold down the control key and click here for it to go in for servicing. If you just click it without holding control, then it stays in the train depot, and at that point you can alter the engine or the car setup. But we have a full load of coal, or as relatively full as it's going to be, 30 tons per car, so that's close. If I click on the coal mine down here, it says 160 tons of coal a month. Right there. And we made our first money. It looked like it was about $1,400. Oh, actually closer to $1,800. So it's going to be profitable for a while. So at this juncture, we can pause the game and start looking for other opportunities to make money, because we still have 168,000. Alright, I can do the same thing, or I can look to do something a little different. For instance, I could instead try to find an iron mine relatively close to a steel factory, which I think we've just found. As a matter of fact, this is a great location. We could talk about going from the mine to here, and the coal mine to the power plant, and we've got some elevation here to worry about. Now I can try to put a station in between these two and have it service both ends of the rail, but there's going to be a little complexity involved. We'll get into that more. So what I want to do now, I do want to go ahead and raise the ground level. So I'll click landscaping and click the up arrow, and I have to unpause it first. Get a nice flat section of land, and I do want this rail station to be 2 tracks wide, and we'll leave it at 3, but I have to change the orientation to this for it to sit evenly. Let's just back it up 1. Okay, now I want to go ahead and have rails coming out both ends. If you use this one, it allows you to click and hold to lay out the track. I usually like to come out 3 or 4 sections. That allows me to put room for lights to control the traffic. Now, the terminals and railways coming out are very important. In the city, you kind of lay out a base area of how you want to set it up, because once the city grows, it could actually block a set of these tracks. So we want to keep that in mind when we're working around cities. Sometimes you may even want to go ahead and plop down a train station in advance, knowing you're going to build in that area. For instance, we could look at laying 2-track station here. We're just going to go with 1 train for 1 leg here. So we need a short one. Put it in line with the tracks, accepts coal, run the track to it. And this one we're going to do a little orientation that's different. And come out at least 3 or 4 and turn the corner. Oops. I often do that. I don't know why I laid track that I've got to take up. And if we pause, we see we've down to 150,000. We've spent about 25% of it. I still have to buy a train or 2 trains. I can put a depot here and have it join tracks, which would be fine because the rail coming from here will not go past the station if I don't tell it to go anywhere else. So that means we just need a blocking light on this set of tracks to keep it from going to that rail depot. Unpause it and plop it down right there. When it's that close to the rail, automatically has the entrance and exit rail. And like I said, we want a blocking light to keep it from going to that. Okay, what I did there wasn't optimal. Actually, if I had an entrance and a couple exit signals, that would probably work better. But we're just going to go with this for right now. So we'll unpause, hit delete key to clear the windows, and add our new train. And we're going to need coal. So we'll set this route. Again, I didn't set it up optimally, but since it's got to be in the middle, I think it was going to be okay. That train's on its way, and our third train, new vehicle, same type of engine, and this time we need iron ore hopper. We'll again use 3. I hit engine 1 too many times, so now I have to drag the cars up and set the destinations. And let her rip. Now we can force it out of the station, even though the blocking light says, or there's no blocking light to prevent it or allow it in and out here. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's do it both places. Not sure which side it will use. And we'll pause the game here. Now this is the first time I've actually made the mistake of buying too many locomotives. So I'm going to click and drag it to sell it because I want to go ahead and make sure I've got as much cash as possible. Now everything's running. We'll close all these windows and come up here to our display of trains, and we can see the train numbers, and it gives us a listing of how much money it's making. We're at 9,300 for the first train, only 300 and something for the second, and we're in the red for number 4, which is going to change here. Now I like to start paying back the loan as soon as possible. Shows the loan amount, 200,000. Well, I've only made 10,000, and I'm over halfway through the year, but it's not been paying off the entire year. So we'll see how it handles these 3 trains until the start of 1926 to see if we want to pay back any loan. Actually, why don't we look at setting up another route. Now something I've had happen that's rather annoying is that, like here, I've set up tracks and stations to carry wood to a sawmill, and by the time I finish setting it up, the woods disappear. Usually it's later in the game, not so soon after I start, but it's very annoying when you start plopping down resources and spending that money, and then one of your commodities or the station or your processing facility disappears on you. It can happen. We'll go ahead and use this. Again, we want a short track just to get us going. Let's get the station closer to the city this time. Unpause. And it's relatively close. Zoom in a little bit. Click and hold, and we've laid track. And again, I have learned a lesson. Put this closer to where it needs to start. By our engine and wood cars. I'm going to send it on its route. Click stop. We can also click the red X up here to start it. We're under $100,000. It's entirely possible we'll get back up to 100,000 by the end of the year. It's actually kind of doubtful, but we'll see. And let's actually go ahead and pay back some of that loan. We'll repay 40,000 of it. Leaves us with about a 40,000 operating budget. And again, our train list is showing us where our profit is. We can actually sort by what's most profitable. And this train's already earned $13,000 for the years out. Hopefully it can maintain that to next year. It's possible we could lay down another route. Let's go ahead and pause. One of the most annoying things that I've had happen is oil pumping stations have disappeared, and they're somewhat rare on the map sometimes. There's right there and also there, but I don't have a processing facility close. Here's the closest one. Here we got the processing facility, but no pumps. Oil. Yeah, we may not be able to do oil, or we may have to wait until we've earned some cash. Let's see. There's just not any oil refineries close to the pumping fields. So we can look at running coal to another power station. There's woods in a sawmill. I guess what we could do is lay track in this area near the pumping stations and handle, I guess, the flow of passengers between these two little cities, but they won't generate much income. I'm just going to pause it here and see if I can find a better place to lay track and platforms to generate income. So please forgive the change of screen. Okay, we found another mine close to another steel mill. So we'll go ahead and use that one. Oh, we could get these stations really close. Not sure I want that. And there's a power plant, but no coal fields, coal mines close. So we'll set it over here. Change the orientation. And it's going to be minimal links coming out the end of the terminals. That's fine. Again, put the depot close by, and now we're ready to buy another train. We're going to send it on its way. And clear our screen to get a fresh look at everything. We've got a couple months left. Train 1 is making the most, and Train 4 is actually making quite a bit of money. It's another coal train. So maybe we should look at adding a third to maximize our income. And with another 2 months yet, we might get close to 30,000. I don't want to prepay just 20,000, so we'll wait and see if we get to 40. And since it's coming close to the end of the first year, I'll go ahead and end the video here and pick it up for next time. I hope you enjoyed this, and hope you get the benefit of playing this free game as much as you can to your level of enjoyment. Again, watch tutorial series if you feel this game's too complicated or you have a hard time getting started. I know I did. But thanks again for watching.